Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and a lovely looking puzzle today that is a mixture of Kakuro and Sudoku in some way. We will find out how, and it seems a very strange way. This is by Ictus, who's been on the channel a few times, is unbelievably clever, and I suspect we will find that out yet again today. But I'm really looking forward to giving this a go. Don't forget our Patreon, the 12 Labours of Hercules. Fantastic contest, still running. You can enter it. Loads of people have. There is a mini quest which will require you to complete three puzzles. Or you can do the full 12 to try and get your name read out by Simon. We've also, of course, on Patreon got various bits of crossword content, some due up soon. On the channel we had a crossword yesterday, Simon doing a very difficult times crossword and explaining it. We've got the Kickstarter. Do check out the book. It could be spiral bound. It's going to have loads of puzzles. It's going to have all the greatest hits of the past year and a half at least. It is going to be fantastic, and if you are not pledged to it, you won't get it. The more people pledge, the better the book gets due to the stretch goals. Do check out the second link under the video for that. What else have we got going on? We've got all the app updates, or rather the new gas Sudoku app, which Genuinely Approachable Sudoku by Clover, Sam Kappelman-Lyons and Philip Newman. That is brilliant. 30 puzzles already, 10 every month released, so we're probably a week into that, so 3 weeks away from the next release of 10 puzzles, and you can get that if you download the CTC app, and it's one of the available options there. And you can also update your Domino Sudoku if you've already bought that, or buy it if you didn't. And that's getting closer to its full 100 puzzles. The gas will be 60 in due course. So there's also on 5 days time, we've got creating a cryptic crossword with a celebrity by John Halpin, which we are endorsing, and certainly I'm looking forward to that. But for now, let us have a look at this Schrödinger Sudoku by Ictus. The rules are weird, so pay attention. You have to place the digits 0 to 9, not 1 to 9, in the grid, so that every row, column, and 3x3 box contains every digit, including 0, exactly once. Now, to enable this, because you'll notice there are 10 digits and only 9 cells in each row, column, and box, there is a single Schrödinger cell, or S cell, in each row, column, and box, containing a superposition of 2 different digits. So that's how we get the 10 digits into 9. We have to put 2 of them in one cell. Fascinating. Now, here comes the Kakuro bit. Each S cell is a Kakuro clue to the right or downwards, showing the sum of digits between that cell and the edge of the grid. So let's imagine we put a 1 and a 2 in that cell. Then that is saying, I believe, this is like a Kakuro clue, saying that either those 4 digits add up to 12 or possibly 21, because we don't know what the order of that 1, 2 is, and those 4, or, not and, or those 4 digits add up to 12 or 21. Note the or, it is not an and. Only one of them needs to do that. Now, a number outside the grid is also a Kakuro clue, like 35 up here is showing, I mean, it's the same thing, basically. It's showing the sum of the digits between the edge of the grid, and of course, there must be a Kakuro clue in this column, an S cell in the column. So, assuming that was there, say, maybe we have the 1, 2 there, then these cells have to add up to 35. Which is possible. So that is how it works. Kakuro clues can be 0 or have a leading 0. Wow, that's unusual. And row 2, column 1 contains an even digit, hence the square. I mean, that's fascinating. My initial impression of this is how can it possibly be a unique puzzle? There are almost no clues in it. I mean, we get a few numbers, none of which I think determine where an S cell goes or anything. I mean, give it a go, but I reckon this is a hard puzzle, and I mean, it has the ICTU's stamp on it as well, so I'm probably right. But we will see. I am going to try and get through it anyway, and we will see how we go. Do give it a try on the first link under the video. I am going to start. I'm going to reset my clock and start now. Let's get cracking. Okay, okay, we can start with something. We can start with some green. And I feel like Blackadder when I say that. Right, these 5 cells cannot have an S cell in them because this 35 clue has to be at least 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 equals 35. Oh, we're going to have to work out a completely new secret for this puzzle. But we know that 4 digits together can only add up to 30. So 4 isn't enough for these clues. Remember that if we couldn't, there's no point considering adding a superposed cell with 2 digits in it because that would count as a Kakuro clue and stop the count. 29 needs at least 4 and 35 needs at least 5. So I'm greening cells which cannot have the Kakuro clue in. I will probably try and grey, since that seems to be the colour, cells, if I do find any, that have to have the clue. Now, what have we learnt, if anything, from this? Okay, I was just mentioning, there's going to be, it's not really a different secret. We know that the numbers 1 to 9, which fill every row, column and box in a normal Sudoku, add up to 45. This time we have to add the number 0 on. And that's fine. So the secret in this puzzle is still 45 in every row, column and box, because now they contain the digits 0 to 9, and I can tell you that 0 to 9 add up to the same as 1 to 9, which is 45 every time. So could this stretch all the way across there and have an S clue here? And the answer is yes. Because if they added up to 35, then the 2 digits you put into this cell would add up to 10. I was just wondering if that was giving me the first glimmer of... No, okay, let's look at the small numbers here. Right, 3. Now, let's not forget you can fill a cell with 0. So in theory, this 3 could have had 0, 1 and 2, adding up to 3, and then an S cell here. But we've made that green. So the S cell can't be here or anywhere after it. That works fine for that. And I think it's even better for less than 3 and less than 2. So in less than 3, I suppose... Could that be the S cell? Yes, it could, because those two could be a 0 and 1 or 0 and 2. Okay, but these can't be and these can't be because of the less than 2 and less than 3. Right, and now we've got 8 green cells in row 5, and that is an S cell. And these do add up to 35, and the 2 numbers in here do add up to 10. And they are a Kakuro clue. And obviously they're not a Kakuro clue to the right, so they must be adding these 4 cells. Oh yes, we can green all these because we've got the S cell for this row, column and box. Now these 4 cells have to add up to something given by 2 digits that add up to 10. Well, they could add up to 19 or 28, but I don't think we can go higher than that. You can't begin a number with 30 because it would be 37, and 4 cells can't add up to 37. And if you go any higher, it's nonsense. So actually, it can't be 28 either, because the 4 cells that you would need to add up to 28, I'm pretty sure, have to have an 8 in them. If you use the other 4 big numbers, 9, 7, 6, and 5, they only add up to 27. So this isn't 28, this is 19. And we've done one of the S cells already. And these 4 add up to 19, but there are lots of ways of doing that, even not using a 1 and a 9, because we now have to remember that we've used 1 and 9 in this column and box. So this could play merry hell with my pencil marking. Right, but that's a start. We've at least done something. I don't know how this puzzle is going to give us leave to do much else. Okay, where does the S cell go here? Right, I am going to say that it can't go here because every S cell clue is a Kakuro clue. And whatever digit you were going to put in here would have to be what it was adding up to be a Kakuro clue. It can't go down. Or can it go down? Could it be a 0? No, because there's going to be 2 digits in each S cell. So they can't be just the 0. Actually, that applied there as well, but I've only just worked that out. So this can't be just 0. It must have a number in it. And whatever number, say you had a 3 in the corner there, which is possible, then this Kakuro clue would have to be 3. And although you could write 0, 3, you would have a clash of 3's in this row now. So whatever this number is, it's not going to have a Kakuro clue here. So this is not a Kakuro clue. The same is true here, because again, there's one cell to the right, one to the bottom. Exactly the same argument applies. So this is a Kakuro clue, an S cell, and it's adding those two, which can add up to no more than 17. So the first digit of this is 0 or 1, because we are allowed leading zeros, remember. These add up to 35, so these 3 cells add up to 10 between them, and I think, yes, you can't put a 1 in there because it would count as a 1 in the sum and a 10 for the sum of those, and we'd be up to 46. That's too many. So the leading digit here is a 0, and we can basically divide the number left over after subtracting those 35 from these 45. These add up to 10. Let's divide that by 2, and we can put a 5 in there. This S cell is a 0 and 5. These two add up to 5. They don't have 0 or 5 in, so they're either a 1-4 pair or a 2-3 pair. And now that I have worked out, okay, all that tells me is that wherever the S cell, this rule about how you can't be adding up one cell or you'd have a clash that I've basically established, that tells me that wherever the S cell is in these cells, it's not doing a downward sum, it's going to do an across sum, but I don't have a lot of detail on that. Same is true here, it's going to be doing an across sum because it can't be just a single 0. Now, what next? I mean, I'm happy enough to have found 2 S cells already. I don't think this is easy, and that's something gained. Oh, one of these two is an S cell. This is what the rule meant about how Kakuro clues can be 0. Because in either column 6 or column 7, where it says less than 3 or less than 2, one of those does mean 0, because there must be an S cell in one of those. Let's just mark it like that for now. Oh, I said I was going to be grey for the S cells, and then I did it red because I'm a nutcase. Okay, let's do it grey. Hope you can still read what's in them now. The trouble... Oh, yeah, no. I was going to say maybe it can't do the downward Kakuro, because whichever one of these is a Kakuro clue, it could be looking downward and adding up those, and I think then it has to be 36. What am I talking about there? I'm saying that I think the only way you can put a 2-digit number in one cell here, use all the other numbers in the next 8 cells and have them equal the same thing, or if you put 36 in here and then 45 minus 6 minus 3 is what all of those add up to, which is 36. And we've done that before in arrow puzzles and things with long arrows. But even though I know 36 is the answer. The trouble is I don't know that either of these clues do look down. They could look across and add those 3 or those 2 cells. So it doesn't really help much. I need to find something totally different. 35 can be anywhere between 5 and 8 cells. 33, yeah, even that could be 8 cells. Oh, one of these two is obviously a Schrödinger cell because in this box that's all that's left. So these 3 aren't. So one of these two is in that column. That means these 4 aren't. Oh yeah, there's much more to colour in than I'd realised. One of those 3 is obviously, I mean, that's how we got them. Oh, hang on, whichever one of these, oh no, I was going to say whichever one of these is looking down, it can't just add 1 cell, but neither of those may look down because only one of them's an S cell and it may look across, so that was nonsense. So in one case, this is either if that's an S cell, this is genuinely a 34 clue. 98764 would have to be here. Or that's a genuine S clue and this is a sum that adds up to 33. There are 2 possibilities for that, 98763 or 98754, and I don't know which is right. Whichever one of these is genuine, it's counting all 8 cells across because it's the only S cell in its row. And therefore, this is an instance. One of these is a 36 pair. If that was the 3-6 pair, so that those added up to 36, and this whole row would add up to 45 in terms of its digits, which it has to. But I think that causes a problem here, because you've got 9 in those cells. These would add up to 36, but the clue says 35. So that is not the Schrödinger cell. It is not 36. The 36 is here. These add up to 35, plus 3 and 6 is 44. That is a 1 to make up the total. There's our first non-Schrödinger 4-digit. These go green. One of these is a Schrödinger cell. That's not a 1, so that's not a 4. Whichever of these is adding... whichever of these is a Schrödinger cell, above it we have a total of 33 or 34. So if it's this cell that's a Schrödinger cell, its digits add up to 12. And that's impossible. That would be 39 at a minimum because the... Oh, what's going on? Well, that's fair enough. It would be 39 at a minimum because the 2 digits that make up 12 will either give you a 2-digit number of 39, 48, 57, 75, 84 or 93. All of those are too big for 4 cells of single digits. So that is not 39. It is not a Schrödinger cell. That one is. That one is not. This one is. And those add up to 34. So these two add up to 11. 45 minus 34. And now we don't have to start with 38, which is still impossible for 5 cells. 98765 add up to 35. We have to start with 29. We've done another one. Unfortunately, there's no rule about these numbers having to represent 2 sets of the digits 0 to 9 or something. Anyway, these add up to 29. Plus 1 is 30. Plus that 2 and 9 is 41. These add up to 4, and they don't involve a 1. And you might think, well, that's impossible, but you've forgotten 0 if you think that. That must be a 0-4 pair. This now can't be a 4, and that's not a 1. This is now a definite 2-3 pair, and there is a 2 in this cell, remember. Once we've got a fully grey cell with the pencil marks in, yeah, the pencil marks differ because I've just written that into these cells as though I know what I'm talking about. The pencil marks differ. In a grey cell, The 2 pencil marks are definite digits that are both in the cell. In a green cell, they're optional digits. So one of these is 0 and one of them is 4. But that counts as a 2 and a 9. I might miss this later, but I've remembered it now. So that cell is seeing a 2 and must be a 3, and we get something else in the grid. So we've got a 3 and I think I'm kind of done with those. I mean, basically, whatever order you put in 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 in this column, that 35 clue is answered. Same is true there for the 34. Same is true here for the 35. So those clues and this across one, they're just finished now. That's really annoying, actually, because I'm going to need something to give me some help in this puzzle. Now, okay, these add up to 33. Okay, they include 9, 8, and 7, don't they? They're either 9, 8, 7, 6, 3 or 9, 8, 7, 5, 4. Now, what are we going to put in here then? If it's looking down, then all of these cells together, all of the digits in them, add up to 45 minus 33 is 12. And that would mean this would have to be 0, 6. And it can't work because you'd then have to put 1, 2, 3 in these cells, but we've got a 2 there. So this is looking right, not downwards. I think what I'm going to do, and I've only just thought of this, is to mark which way clues are looking. I'm going to put a little X in there because this clue is looking right. That clue is looking down, that clue is looking down, this clue is looking horizontal, that one's horizontal. And this is because, although I've worked out that this clue can't be looking down, I have no idea what it's made up of and what these 4 add up to. Right, but now look, we've got 0, 5, 2 and 3 here. This is a 1, 9 pair. These are all single digits, and we've got 1 and 9 looking at those 3 cells, and we've got 1 and 9 looking at that cell. So that's a 1, 9 pair. 4 is in one of these 2. Everything else in this box is 6, 7 or 8. Now, we've got a total of 19, including a 4 here, plus 6 and 7 would lead to a 2 here, which is possible. 6 and 8, 18, would lead to a 1 here. That is not possible because we've got the 1 in the column in the grey cell. 7 and 8 would lead to a 0 here, and annoyingly that is possible. So 2 possibilities there. So this is either 4, 6, 7 or 4, 7, 8, and definitely uses a 7. So this doesn't, because it's in the same box. That doesn't shed a lot of light on what we put in here. 3 cells including a 0 or a 2. I suppose actually, no, if that 0 was ruled out of this cell, that would be something. Then, what can these add up to? The maximum now is 26. So the first digit here, the first digit here is not going to be a 0, because then these would be 1, 2, 3 and 4 at least, and add up to 10. So the first digit couldn't be 0. So the first digit in the 2-digit number in this cell is either a 1 or a 2. And if it was a 2, that would be a 0. These would have to add up to at least 21, and that is possible. There's a 1 in one of these cells, and there's a -2 clue up here. But you could still put a 0 here, and therefore... Sorry, I said a -2, a less than 2. I don't know, my brain is not responding to what my mind is trying to understand. Now, could that be a 0? With this being the S cell in this column. That's the only way now that 1 has gone. I mean, I suppose it could. You'd then have, that would be an S cell. There'd be an S cell in one of those two. That would be a 1 or a 2. No, this would be, sorry, this would be the S cell, wouldn't it? What am I talking about? So it could either be 36 again, adding downwards, or the total of those two. I don't know what's going on. I don't think we've got a 0 there. But I don't know how to prove that we haven't. Oh, I find this very hard. That can't be a 6, because there's a 6 in this row already. We've effectively done that clue. This 29 clue, we've effectively done that by putting the residue there. Here we've got 1 and 9, 4 and 7 definitely used there. We've done this clue. Oh, hang on, 9, 8, 7 are used here. This one sees 1, 0, 4, 2 and 3 as well. So we're left with 5 or 6 in that cell. Which, oh, and that's the other 5 or 6. The other 5 or 6 is used in this 5-digit sum. This is either 98763 or 98754. Therefore, we've got a virtual 98756 in those, and these ones are selected from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one can't have a 2 or a 3 because of that 2 and the 3 in there. This one can't have a 0, and this one, oh, I was going to say can't have a 0 or a 2, but it begins with a 1 or a 2. So now the total here is either 10, 12, 13, 14, 20, 21, 23 or 24. That's quite a wide variety of gubbins to choose from. But we must include 0, 1 and 2? Yes, we must include 0, 1 and 2 in these 3 cells, but there's also one other digit because the grey cell is here. Oh, it'd be useful to know what this is, wouldn't it? What about this bottom row? 104, 293. This is 5, 6, 7 or 8. No, I don't know what's going on with those. There's so little clues to go on. This must be a very linear puzzle, but it's so hard to know. Ah, what's this digit? It's got to be 3 or less than 3. Oh, it can't be 3 because there is a 3 in this column. This is less than 3 and it's not 1. So it is 0 or 2. Now the only way that could be the Schrödinger clue in this row is if that was another very low digit. I suppose if that was a... Oh no, it's got to... No, in fact, this is a green cell. Ah, so slow. We've got to... It's not a less than 3 clue like that one. It's exactly 3. So this one is 3 or 1. This is a Schrödinger cell. Now, can it be adding horizontally? That's the only one I've got any clue about. If that adds up to 3, this whole, the digits in these cells add up to 42. Now, can this begin with a 4? Then you've got 40 there and 4 there. No, that's too much to get to 42. It can't have a 3 here as the first digit of a horizontal sum, because you'd be subtracting 30 from 42 there and another 3 there. The remainder would be 9, and you'd have to divide that by 2, and that does not give another digit you can put in here. Can it be a 2 here? You subtract 20 and 2 from 42, and you're left with 20. Divided by 2 is 10, but you can't put a 10 in this cell, so this is impossible. This does not go horizontally. This clue goes vertically. Okay, I've established that. Oh, look, I can make those green as well. But I don't get a clue in this column, so I don't know. Well, maybe I can know what it begins with, roughly. This is 5 cells, which can add up to no more than 34, and no fewer than 10. So the first digit in this clue is 1, 2, or 3, which is going to decide something here. If that's 03, then it's 1 or 2, and this is a total somewhere between 12 and 29. If that's a 2, 1, oh, if that's a 2, 1, then this is a 3. Well, we can't go up to 34 because that would repeat the 4. Can we have 30 there with a 4 here? Because a 0 there would put a 4 here. Those would add up to 26. Yes, that can be done. Oh, rats. I could nearly decide how those two work, but I can't. So this is, well, its tens digit is a 1, 2, or 3. That's all I can do. Now, one of these, I don't know, one of them's looking down or across. That's just not interesting. Maybe this is where this even digit is going to suddenly come into its own, but I can't see how to use that. This is hard. I mean, what else is going on? There's nothing in this puzzle. There's no help for the wicked in this. 9, 8, 7, 6. I've got to think about this 3 and 2 thing a bit more now. I've got to. Well, has this made any difference? I don't think it has. If this was... Oh, this cannot be a Schrödinger cell, because you'd have had to put 0 and 1 there to fulfill the top clue, and you can't put a 1 there anymore. So that's green. Now we're getting close. So if that is the Schrödinger cell, which seems less likely, then we get 1 here and 1 here. Now, can these be the Schrödinger cells? The 3 is fulfilled, the less than 3 is fulfilled before you reach it, because you've got 0. That's how, I mean, it must be the case in either that or that, so that's okay. Then the clue here would be adding either those 3 or all of these. It would be a 3, 6. Looks like that works, annoyingly. Oh, here's just a boring bit of Sudoku. There's a 5 there, so one of those is a 5 and one of those is a 5. Doesn't stop that being a 6, unfortunately. Just hadn't noticed a tiny bit of Sudoku like that yet. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's so hard to know what to do. I need to keep thinking clearly. What can we do next? It is such a puzzle. If this was a Schrödinger cell, then you'd have 2 up here that would include a 0 and either a 1 or a 2. This, I don't know. I mean, it could be adding that or that, and it could have almost anything in the cell. Ah, this is maddening. Okay, 2 is in that cell and can't be in these. Oops, can't be in those. Also can't be in those because the 33 sum won't allow it. Oh, that can't be a 2. Oh, so the 2 in this column. How does it take me that long to spot that the 2 in this column is in this cell? Oh, and therefore that's a 0. Oh, gosh. Right. I don't know how to pencil mark that there's a 2 in this, because I I tried to pencil mark that the tens digit is either a 1 or a 2. Okay, let's just do it like that. There's a 2 in this cell. There's a 0 here. Now, these have to add to 19, so they're 4, 7, 8, and don't have a 6. Let's get rid of the pencil mark. This is a 6, therefore. That's a 5. This isn't a 5 or a 6. It's 7 or 8, along with that. Now, there's no 5 in this group of cells, so they are 9, 8, 7, 6, 3. So there's no 3 in these two. These digits are 0, 1, 2, 4. That can't have a 0 in now because of the 0. That can't have the 0 in because there's a 0 there. So we can put 0 in here. This, oh yeah, it's either 12, 21 or 24, adding these 4 cells. 24 would be brilliant. That would be a 9, 8, 7 triple here. 12 would be a 3, 4, 5 set because you couldn't use 1 or 2. Both of those would be incredibly helpful. I suspect 21 is less helpful. And I don't know which is the right answer, but can I do anything else with the stuff I've done? 2950 in this box. 0 and 5 are finished there. 6 and 1. Come on, let's keep thinking. Because it's stopping thinking that would be dangerous. Like 9 there says that's not a 9. That's really nothing. Now I've got to think about this sum, surely. 24 would be 7, 8, 9. That couldn't be the 9 because of the 1, 9 pair. Oh, 2 is there. 2 is there. There's a 2 in one of these 3 cells. I hadn't seen that. I don't know what else. No, I'm not taking that. Cool. I want to keep thinking about this puzzle. That's really weird. Now, maybe I've got to go back to thinking about this. It hasn't really changed. The only way that that's a Schrödinger cell is if this is a 0. And then that's a Schrödinger cell. And if this is a 0, if that's a Schrödinger cell, well, we worked out it could be 336, but actually, could it? That would now make this 7, 8, 9. A 36 there. Is there a reason that doesn't work? I don't think there is. That's really annoying. Maybe we need to think about what this would be as a Schrödinger cell. No, I don't know, because they can always be across as well as down. Yes, what I was going to start to wonder was, if that was a Schrödinger cell, that would be 0. So this would then be only adding those 2. You've got 29 here. Oh, wherever the Schrödinger cell is in this row, you've got 29 before it. So, if the Schrödinger cell was adding horizontally, it would be half, well, you'd have 16 divided between the digits used in the sum and the other digits. I think that would mean it would be a 0, 8. No, it doesn't have to. It could be... Yes, it would be, because if you put a 1 in as the tens digit, that would come out of that 16 sum as a 10 on one side and a 1 on the other and leave 5 divided by 2. Right, so if this Schrödinger cell was going across, in whichever cell it's in, if it was doing the horizontal sum, it would be 0 and 8. If it's doing the vertical sum, it'll be 3 and 6. Okay. And if this one isn't a Schrödinger cell, it's a 0. So it can't be a 3-6 pair because we've got a 6 down there. So this is either a 0 or a 0 and an 8. And there is definitely a 0 in it. That's so bizarre. If it was 0, 8, these... Yeah, even if that's 36 going down... Am I right? Am I right? I don't know. If this is a... No, if this is a Schrödinger cell, it's 0, 8 going across or 36 going down, but it can't be 36 going down. If it's not a Schrödinger cell, this is a Schrödinger cell and is either 0, 8 going across or 36 going down. It's the same deal. And if that's... Oh, that couldn't be 0, 8 going across because this would become not a Schrödinger cell and would have to have a 0 in it. So either we've got 0, 8 going across there or 36 going down here. That's incredible. That one of those is right. But whichever one is right, well, whichever one is right doesn't necessarily affect the other cell much, except if that is a Schrödinger cell, that's a Schrödinger cell, and that has to be 0. Ooh. Oh, this can't be a Schrödinger cell if that's 0. And that's the only way this can be a Schrödinger cell, with that being 0. Why can't this be a Schrödinger cell? Because if that's 0, you've got the same 45 in those. This would have to be 36, but it can't be because of the 6. So this couldn't add down. And the only way it could add across... Oh, is if it began with a 0 or a 1, because the total would have to be under 18. And you can't have a 0 because you've putatively put a 0 in there, and you can't have a 1 because you've put a 1 in one of those. I think that logic holds. I think that logic is good. This cannot be the Schrödinger cell. It is green. This can't be 36. This is a Schrödinger cell. It can't be 36 going down, so it is 0, 8 going across. Adding those two, which are either... Well, they're not 0 and 8. If they're... Oh, they're not 1 and 7, because we've got a 1 and a 7 in looking at that cell. So they're either 2, 6 or 3, 5. They're not 3, 5, because we've got a 3, 5 looking at that cell. They are 6, 2. This puzzle is absolute genius, but it is a bit beyond me, I think. I mean, I'm struggling on, but I don't feel like I'm mastering it. I feel like it's eventually hitting me over the head with a sandbag and telling me the truth. Right, now this is low, and it's not 0 or 2. It's less than 3. It must be a 1. But, I still don't know which of these is the last, or the column 6 Schrödinger cell, because you could put a 0 there, and then this could be the Schrödinger cell. I don't know if... You'd have to make these add up to 44, which could be done if you had 40 as the Schrödinger number, but with a 0 there, that wouldn't be allowed. So it couldn't go down, but if that was a 0 and this was a Schrödinger cell, it could add across. Or could it? No, again, it couldn't begin with 0 or 1. In fact, it would have to have a 2 in it. It would be 20-something. This couldn't have an 8 in it, or a 6. 975 is the most they can add up to, and that would have to be, that would be 21. And if you put a 0 there, you cannot make this 20 or 21. Oh my goodness, that is mind-blowing. But it does prove that this is not a Schrödinger cell. That is green. This is a Schrödinger cell. This is green. The colouring is actually finished, by golly, by Jingo. Now, do I know whether this is reading across? Hasn't it got the same... No, it doesn't have the same problems, because now it can have a 0 in. Bother. 975 would be 21. Oh look, I can put 6 in this final column. Hadn't seen that. 3-5 pair there. That's a 1-9 pair. That's a 4-7 pair. Actually making some progress. Once you realise these grey cells which contain 2 digits are both of those digits, not either of them, both of them, you can actually see some things in this puzzle. Now, that is the columnar doubles and triples necessary. That -3 clue has been answered. This crazy cell is either, well, now it could be 40, and those would add up to 40. Or it's doing a cross. But is it? Because again, you could get to 21 here. Otherwise, you're beginning with a 1, and both 21 and numbers beginning with a 1 are not allowed. The only other way to dip below that is go 4, 1, 3, and then this is 0, 8. So this is either 0, 8 or 4, 0, which I should not be pencil marking in that way. Okay, the key thing is there's no 2 in it, so I've placed my 2. Okay, I'm going to leave it. I know that this cell is either 40 looking down or 0, 8 looking across. It has a 0 in it. This is a 2. 2 does nothing for me. Do I know whether it's 40 or 0, 8? If it was 0, 8, that would be a 7. That doesn't do anything. Wow, this puzzle's mental. Now, as for this Mr. Schrödinger cell, what are you doing? Nothing, surely. I mean, they could add up to anything between 28 and 44, I reckon. In fact, they could even add up to 21. Okay, well, all right. That would make this a 3 or a 4, because it can't be a 2. These could add up to anywhere between 15 and, well, not as many as 44. But now this tens digit is either a 1 or a 3 or a 4. That's not very helpful. It's nearly helpful. If it was a 1 or a 3, that would be a pair. I don't know if that's helpful. Anyway, there's too many possibilities to think about. Maybe let's go back to this. Now this is getting a little more restrained. This can't be 24, because that can't be from 987. And there is a 2 in it. And it's not 24, so there's no 4 there. So this is a 1-2 pair. Didn't I say at the beginning this cell was either 12 or 21? Maybe I was talking about that one. I don't know. But anyway, this cell is either 12 or 21. This is definite 4. That's not a 4. This is a 4. Now, 12 in those 3 cells, because I can ignore the 0. That can't be an 8, because that would either go 3, 1 or 2, 2. Oh, we can't use a 1 or a 2 in the 12 sum. In fact, I worked this out earlier. It's got to be 3, 4 and 5. So that's a 4. That's 3 or 5. That's 3 or 5. I don't know which is which, but I get that 4. One of those is a 2 now. Now, I always thought this was very unlikely to be 30, which was the only way we had 2 and 1 here. If that's a 30, you've got a 4 here. These add up to 24 without using 0, 3 or 4. No, maybe that's not helpful. Oh, I tell you what we've got. We've got a 1, 2 in this cell. So these are from 6, 7, 8 and 9. Doesn't really do anything. Would it be more helpful? Well, 40 wouldn't be at all helpful because it wouldn't tell us anything about these. If that was 0, 8, that would tell us that this was 4, 1, 3. Ooh, and if that was 0, 8 and this was 4, 1, 3, that would use 0, 8 and 4 that couldn't be this even cell, which also can't be a 6. Ooh. Let's actually just write in the possibilities at the moment. Can't be a 6, so it's 0, 2, 4 or 8. If that was 0, 8 with 4 here, this would definitely be a 2. That would then be 0 and 3. Ah, that's the easy way. Bother. This doesn't have much pressure then. 6, 2, 0, 1, 8. That can't be an 8. 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 plus 1. I mean, that's pointless pencil marking. This thing, is this any use to me? Doesn't feel like it is, but down here, what is the minimum value of these is what I'm wondering. You could have a 0 here. You could have a 5 here. That's the minimum for that cell. And a 2 here. We're up to 7. 1 there is 8. This takes us up to 14 at a minimum. I suppose that could be a 3. You're just coming in under 20 here. But otherwise, we're going over 20, and this has to have a 3 or a 4 in it, which, I don't know, it's not a strong deduction, but I'll take anything at the moment if I could just keep going. 40 there. Oh, a 4 there would mean that was a 7, and if it's a 0, 8, that's a 4. No, that's not how I want to do it. There is a 2 in one of those 3 cells. That can't be a 6. Maybe it's still about those. If they were 2, 1, it's just not enough information. Oh, mind you, there's a 1 here and a 1 here. So one of these has got to have a 1 in it by Sudoku, of all crazy techniques to use in a puzzle. Oh, here's another one. That 7 or 8 is the same as that one, and must appear here with either 5 or 7. I don't know, might not lead to anything. That means 2 and 9 are in these cells, and that's going to sort out the 1 or 9 there. How bizarre. So that's a 1, that's a 9. Now 94, 0, 3 and 6. These are from 1, 7, 8 and form a triple with that. And these are a 3, 6 pair, which I could have worked out before by noting 3, 6 and 3, 6. Okay, but I'm still prepared to take any little snippets of information that come my way. 4, 7, 8, 2, 3, 5. I mean, none of this really looks up the grid and contributes anything, unfortunately. It's just filling in numbers down here. Oh, but this is definitely counting down. Right, have we got any more information on this? Can we stop it beginning with a 3? Because that would be positive information. Don't think so. 1, 4, 3, 6, 0, 5. These are from 2, 7, 8 and 9. No, I don't think I've got anything on it at all. That's so irritating. One of these has to have a 1. I'm trying not to forget that. I still think this is so wide open it can't be the helpful cell. But I don't know what is. Is it about this, whether it's 40 or 08? Oh, I'm the best part of an hour in now. Gosh. Oh, look. 1 is looking down at that cell. Didn't see that. So that's a 1. This is a 7-8 pair, so there's no 8 there. So it is a 40 looking downwards, which is not really what I wanted. I wanted it to be an 8 so I could determine those. Ah, but a 4 at least tells me that's a 7. Okay. 4 there. And this now can't be 0 or 4. Ooh, so that's down to 2 or 8. It's beginning to get interesting. Let's look up this column. 7, 8, 2, 0, 4, 1. Everything else is 3, 5, 6, or 9. That can't be a 9 because there's a 9 in there, so I can fill in the 9 in the column. This is 3, 5, or 6. That's not a 9 now, nor is that. And this must be a quintuple of 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, this is a 0, 4 pair. And that's not a 4 accordingly. Is that 0, 4 pair any use? Not really. No. It's just mocking me. 1, 0, 4. Oh, I was going to go, where's 2 in this column? I've just spotted it down there at the bottom. 2, 9, 1, 0, 4. So 5 has to be in one of those cells. I could have worked that out before. It's not interesting again. Is it about this even cell, 2 or 8? Maybe I can work out which it is. If it was a 2, that would be 0, that would be 3, this would be 1 or 2. Or it would have a 1 or a 2 in it. Oh, let's look along here. 9, 6. This is quite limited now, isn't it? If you chose what the 2-digit number was. Oh no, it's going, yes, I'm sorry. I'm still considering that it might be looking across, but I've disproved that. So it's counting the down numbers. And how is it doing it? Oh, that can't be a 7. Might as well tidy up the little tiny things I can see. What is it adding up? What number does it come to? Oh, what's the minimum now? Maybe that's worth thinking. 0, 5, 2, 6. 13 there. But I can still come in under 19 with a judicious number selection here. Sudoku again? That 1 thing, if that's not a 1, if this is 0, 3. Oh gosh, I'm being forced to look at this clue now. I don't want to look at this clue. Oh, I'll tell you. No, I won't tell you. I thought I was going to place a 4 there, but I hadn't spotted the 4 in this cell. There's a 5 in one of these. No, could be one of those 3. Ah! Just going around in circles thinking about the same digits over and over again. How am I meant to disambiguate this? 7, 8, 3, 6. 5's in one of those 2. 3 or 6 there. Nine's in one of those 3 and therefore not here. That's so little, so late. Do I have to think about this? It can't, if it's doing an across sum, that sum can't begin with 40 or 20. It's too many cells to begin with a 1, so it would have to be a 30 sum. That would take 3 out of this cell in particular. how would you get up to 30 something? That would take 30 and 3 out of the equation by using those cells and the 3 there. You'd be left with, oh, you'd be left with 12. Would you? No, I'm thinking of it the wrong way around for those 2 cells. What about this cell? It sees 1, 3, 6, 2, and 4. I'm going to bother to fill in the possibilities just because they have an effect on this cell and the across. If that was a 0, that has to be 36, adding up all of those. And that is infuriatingly possible. If that was a 5, it's part of a 40 sum. That wouldn't work. Well, it wouldn't work for the across, but of course this could be adding down. That's the trouble. And I mustn't lose sight of that. Oh, I'm so stuck now. And I definitely get worse. The longer a video goes on, the worse I get at trying to work out what to do to unstick myself. I know that, but I can't stop it happening. Somewhere around here is the solution. Is it really this even cell? Is that actually helpful? See, if that was a 2, what would it do? I don't know what it would do. I don't know why it would matter. It would make that a 0 and that a 3. And this, what would it do to that? It would mean it would begin with a 1 or a 2. That is so uninteresting. It's almost certainly definitely right. Okay, let's just try and prove the 2 and 1 case here, which makes that 30, doesn't it? It does. Talking to myself. If that was 30, 3, 0. The 30 here plus 3 would be 33. These would add up to 12 to make up the 45 for the column without using 3, 0, or 4. Ooh, they would have to be 1, 2, 9. And they'd have to be in the order 9, 2, 1. Wow, 9, 2, 1, 3, 0, 4 at the bottom. These would be 5, 6, 7, 8. Gosh, it's really powerful, but it does work. So maybe that's right. If that's 2, 1, this is 3, 0. Otherwise, this is 0, 3. So there's definitely a 0 in one of those 2 cells, and that's not 0. There we go. Another tiny deduction added to the pile of deductions in this puzzle. Doesn't do anything. Never mind. Right. So, if 2 and 1 and 30 there does work, then does 0 and 3 not work somehow? That 3, there'd be a 3 here and a 3 here. You'd need a 3 in one of these cells. What does that do? Nothing. No, there is a 6 there, so that can't be 6. This is just fiddling on the Titanic. 2, 4, 0. There is now a 0 in one of those cells. That is totally uninteresting. 40129. I'm sorry I'm finding this so hard. It's very frustrating for me as well. Is that a 0? 0, 3, and then what happens? That's a 7, 8 pair. That's 2 or 5. This would have to be made up of a 1 and either a 2 or a 5. So making 12, 15, 21 or 25. So if I could prove all of those sums impossible, then I could prove 0, 3 here to be impossible. 12, 15, well, they can't be they can't be horizontal because we're already up to 19. 12 or 15 vertically. 0 plus 5 plus... Well, if it was 12, you couldn't have a 2 here. So you'd have at least a 6, 7 here. This cannot be 12 or 15. Can it be 21 or 25? Not across. It's just too much. Can it be 21 or 25 down? In which case you couldn't have a 2 or a 1 in the sum. These would be a minimum of 5, 6, 7 is 18. If you've got 21, you've got 03 here. This would be at least a 4, which would take you up to 22. So it couldn't be 21. Could it be 25 looking down? That's the only way this could be 03, is if this is a 25 looking down. That's not possible. It's got to have a 1 in it. It was 51 and 51 was the other possibility, not 25. 12, 15, 21, 51. 51's impossible. That's far too big. It is not 0 and 3. Yes! It's 2 and 1. And this is where the 3, 0 bit goes. That's extraordinary. Okay, it's right though. So, oh, that's exciting. 3 and 0. This is 30. These add up to 30. Plus the 3 in the digits is 33. These add up to 12. They can't use 3. Didn't I work out they couldn't use 4 and 5 as well? Yes, 30 means that's a 4. Well, they can't use 3 and 4. And they add up to 12. Oh, bother. So they could be 1, 5, 6 as well as 1, 2, 9. Ah. Good thing I checked though. So it's either 9, 2, 1 or 5 and then 1, 6 in some order. Oh, bother. But there's definitely a 1 in them. And this is 0 and 3. So no 3 there. This is a 5 now. This is 3. That's 5. That's 2. This is not 5. Come on, come on. Let's keep going now. Come on, Mark. 0. Ah, exciting and yet terrifying at the same time. I'm so annoyed. I thought I'd got it clear that that was 912. Maybe that was... Oh, look, this has become an 8. This even cell has done its business now. 6, 2, and 0, 4 looking at it. That's an 8. That doesn't do anything for that sum, but it takes 8 out of a few cells that 8 sees. How are we getting on with 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 here? No better. 2. That can't be a 2. So we've got a 7, 9 pair here now. That is 0 or 5. This is not 7 or 9. Oh, it's not 3 either because there's a 3 in the grey cell. So 1, 3, 6, 7, 9, 2, 8. This can't be 0, so that's 4 or 5. The only place for 0 in the column I have deduced is here. There's nothing else. Don't tell me that. Oh, we're going to have to work out what this is now. And the first digit now cannot be 0, 1, 2, or 4. 5 is too many, so there's definitely a 3 in this good old... And it's 30-something it's adding up to, either down there or across there. Never mind, let's ignore that for a moment and use that 3 to cancel out 3's in various cells. And this one becomes a definite 5. And we get 3 there. Now, one of those is a 3. That's not a 3 now. Come on. Okay, going to have to work out what it is. It can't go... Oh, it could go across because we've taken out the 0. 36 there, and it could be an across sum. 36 there would put a 1 here, 9 here, 7, 8 pair there. That'd be quite helpful. What if it went down? Well, it couldn't be anything. It would have to be 36, 37, or 39, given the possibilities. If it was 36, those would have to add up to 0. Oh, and if it's 37 or 39, they'll have to add up to less than 0, and that ain't going to happen. So it is going across. Oh my goodness, there we go. And it is 36, and we're going to finish this puzzle, I reckon, now. Its sum is right, but it's going to give us some actual Sudoku to do. 9 and 1 there. This can't be 6 or 9. We do have that 7-8 pair that I was excited about. We've got a 7-8 pair going down. So, come on, this has got to finish it. Otherwise, I'm just going to cry. That can't be a 1. There is a what's going on here? 3, 5, 6, 9 in the top left, but there is a 3 in one of those, and there is a 9 in one of those. So that's 3, 5, 6. Yeah, that's 5 or 6. So there is a 5 in one of those. Okay, that's a 3, 5, 6 triple. So that is 7 or 8, which I could have worked out from that pair. So 9 and 6 are in here. Let's have a look along the middle row. 0, 3, 6, 2 and 1, 9. So everything else is from 4, 5, 7 or 8. Oh no, I've got this 30 thing, haven't I? This is either 6, 5 or 2, 9. It's not 6, 5 because we've got a 6 in there now. It is 2, 9. Maybe I did work that out before when I don't think I did, but maybe. I don't know. I worked something out. 3, 5, 4, 7. Top row done. 6, 9. Come on. That's a 5. Second row done. Now, 9, 2, 1, 0, 3, 4. We've got, those can't have a 9 in. Sorry, I took a 9 out of that cell earlier. That was wrong. 9, 2, 1, 0, 3, 4. This can't be 6, so it's 5, 7, or 8. So that can't be 2, obviously. Obvs. So that's the 2. The 6 in this column is decided somehow. Yes, that's right. That can't be 6. 7, 5, 3. That can't be 7 or 5. That's an 8. That's 7. That's 9. That's 5. Box 7 is Dunzos. That does the 7, 8 down here. I've got other 7s and 8s to do in the puzzle, not just in the bottom 3 rows. That can't be 9, so that's 7. That's going to do the remaining 7s and 8s if I don't mistype. Don't need a bout of Simonitis now. 6 and 3, I can do them. By the way, the puzzle is not going to return the correct solution because it can't know how to treat 2 digits in a cell as correct. I mean, that's probably pretty obvious. This is a 4, and then in the green I've just got 1 pair left to disambiguate, and I am done. That is the solution. There's no point clicking the tick because it'll tell you bobbins, that doesn't look quite right. And don't worry, it is right. If you get to this solution, you've got it. And you should be very proud of yourself, as should Ictus, because that is an extreme and interesting puzzle. I have enjoyed the whole journey, and it was a long one. But that's so clever. What an extraordinary idea. I mean, that's literally the best use of Kakuro that has ever been made. But it's vicious. It's vicious, it's cruel, and I love it. Okay, enough masochism from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.